Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to another edition of Wrestling Therapy. I, of course, am your host, Suji. I am back with Stella Shelton. Stella, hello, hello, hello.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being back on. How are you?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Another day above ground, trying to keep it moving.
Yeah.
So, last time we talked, you were telling me about your artwork and you had a book. Is there any update on the book, and when can people start getting their hands on your book?
Well, I'll have to double check. I believe the book actually releases tomorrow, but you can go on Amazon and pre-order it. It is called Pinned by the Champ, and there's actually a whole series. They are 2 hour reads, and they are spicy romance. Yeah, so you should be able to get that tomorrow. I know you can at least pre-order it, and I'm really excited about this series that's coming out.
I want to start from the beginning. What
Okay.
made you decide to step into this genre of art?
With the writing romance novels?
Yes.
Well, actually, I started writing in 2018 under a different pen name, and I was just doing sci-fi romance, just like regular sci-fi fantasy romance. I wasn't selling a whole lot of books, but it was just something I was doing at the time. I found it to be therapeutic. Um, Basically, like I was just sitting in my room writing, and I was dealing with some stuff in the writing. I found it to be kind of like a release, kind of cathartic. And so I did start doing that in 2018. And then 2020, I hopped over to a different pen name, which is Stella Shelton, what I'm doing now. And that was more of the kink positive and niche BDSM type stories. And what I noticed with those stories is that they sold a little bit better. I feel like when it comes to romance novels, almost the more creative you get with like the BDSM and all of that, the better they sell. And so I kind of found my niche there doing that, and I got connected with that author community. And that's actually how I got connected with the publisher I'm with now, because I did all self publishing before that. And so I was lucky enough to actually get connected with this publisher. I went to a book convention with this publisher recently, and they're actually doing the wrestling romance. And the reason I'm doing wrestling romance now instead of the BDSM niche um, is because they had come to me with this project. You know, we want these 2 hour reads. They need to be insta love romances. And I said, well, I have a whole like wrestling fan base on my TikTok and Instagram because I do wrestling fan art. And I think it might be kind of fun to do a romance series in a pro wrestling world. And she loved the idea and wanted to do it. And so we did this project together. So it was sort of a thing where I just started off doing it because it helped me deal with stuff. And then it turned into something that I built up brick by brick by brick. And I wasn't necessarily credible at first. I wasn't necessarily taken seriously at first. It took a while of kind of like building my name up before that happened.
What was some of the difficulties that you've had starting off being a self promoting of your book?
Well, so when you first start out, the thing you have to do is you have to network with other authors. You just have to. It helps if they will let you be in their book events and promote your stuff on their reader groups and Facebook, or they do what's called newsletter swapping. So I have a fan base of readers and I feature your book in my newsletter and vice versa. Well, when you're first starting out and you only have 10 newsletter subscribers, no other author is going to want to work with you. So these bigger authors are like, well, I have a list of 5,000 readers and I'm not going to swap with you because that's not worth it to me. So until they read your books or you establish your credibility, it's difficult to get in. It's difficult to be taken seriously. They also have anthologies. So that's where a group of authors get together, write short stories, and then it's all put in a book together. And it really helps promote each other because there could be a big author and they're like, oh, I love her book, so I'm going to buy the anthology. And then they stumble across Stella Shelton. They're like, oh, Stella Shelton's really great. Now I want Stella Shelton's books. So it was a difficulty establishing my credibility for sure. But I remember I had a, a free book that is like, if you sign up for my newsletter, you get a free book. That's kind of what you have to do to get started. And there was an author who took a shot on me, and I was like, I only have, 10 newsletter subscribers. And she says, I don't care. That's fine. I'll swap with you. She swapped with me. She helped me build up my newsletter. Um, and then that was it. I started getting braver from there on out, asking other authors like, "Hey, will you work with me? Will you help me?" And that's what it takes. It takes another big author mentoring you, taking you under their wing, and convincing them to do that. Um, so eventually, I got into the BDSM community doing the Daddy Dom books, and they have a big anthology that they do. And I asked, if I could write for them, and they said no at first. Or like, you're going to have to establish yourself a little bit more. So it wasn't easy. It's a lot of hustling. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hours and hours of work, and you're not getting any return on it. And you have to give a lot of stuff away when you're a writer. It's lots of, here's a free book. Here, read this. Will you review this if you read this? Just here's my book. Just read it, before you start actually getting paid. Um, to tell until people start taking a chance on you and buying their books. But once you get someone hooked, they read that one book, guess what? They're going to buy all the books in your backlist. So that's that's the thing about it. But lots of blood, sweat, and tears and years of hustling and newsletter swapping and getting other authors in the industry to trust me. So,
Do you
you
go
know,
to a lot of book events?
I wish I could go to more. I've You really have to get invited to be an author at a book event. I know I went to one just as a reader because I wanted to network and I wanted to meet some of these ladies face to face. And that was an awesome experience. And then I did eventually get invited to the Dirty Daddies book convention, which was in March. And that was pretty awesome to go to. I got to meet a lot of my fans and readers and got to network with other authors. And it was just an amazing experience.
How does it feel having fans appreciate your hard work and the sacrifices that you've made to put out a product for people to enjoy?
It's pretty surreal, honestly, because I don't, I just see myself as a normal person. So when people are nervous or getting to meet me or they want my autograph, a strange feeling, but it also feels really good at the same time because it's like, oh, somebody appreciates what I'm doing, you know? Um, but yeah, I mean, my table was a lot busier than I thought it was going to be. I had a steady stream coming in. My Alien Daddy series sold out within an hour of my table
Nice.
being open, which was exciting. Um, I would say my Alien Daddy series is by far the one that is the weirdest. It is the most out there. Um, and it is the one that sells the best. So, people who knock that kink or knock people who are into like the daddy dom and age play stuff, you can knock it, but there is a market for it. There are a lot of people that like it. So, that's who I'm writing for.
There's a market for everyone, no matter how outlandish a person may think something is. There's somebody else out there that's into it as well.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I noticed. And it was a lifestyle I wasn't necessarily real familiar with at the time. And I personally don't like practice age play or anything like that, but some people do. And so I write it for, those people who have those fantasies who maybe don't feel as comfortable being public about it. Um, I'm very proud of what I've done, so I'm not embarrassed that I write it or that I've, put that out there, because I feel like I've put something valuable out there that people can consume, and then they can feel like they're a part of a community or a part of something where they don't have to feel like they're weird because they like something, you
There's
know.
there's I know, I mean, there's plenty of avenues nowadays where people could express themselves without judgment of others. I know of a
Yeah.
website that they have. I mean, there's a list of different kinks and stuff that people are into, and it's okay because we need to learn as people not to judge people for what they like.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
you like what you like. You
Yeah,
know,
and I always say, but as long as it's safe between consenting adults, and there's like safe words and consent in place, like you don't have a right to judge what other people are into.
absolutely,
No, if it's
absolutely.
victimizing people, of course it's not okay. And that's not what kink is.
I was remember we was talking about your artwork and you make these arts, these paintings
Yes.
of these wrestlers. How has been the response to your art has been from these wrestlers?
The response from the wrestlers to the
Hmm.
art?
Yes,
Um, Overall very positive. Of course, I have some wrestlers that don't respond at all. And that stings a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, when I spend hours painting them and they don't really care. Um, and you see them because they look at your story, so they saw it, and then they just say nothing. But I have to remember that not everybody reacts in the way that you think they're going to react, and just because they don't put a heart on it or a like or a comment or whatever doesn't mean that they didn't like it either. And so, I'm just, I try to remind myself of that and not get too in my head. And I'm not going to hit the mark every time. Not everybody is going to like their painting, but I would say overwhelmingly or mostly, um, they love them. They love them. They tell me thank you. I've gotten DMs from wrestlers. Some big wrestlers have DM'd me and said thank you. Um, I when I went in person at Who Runs the World 2 and like gave a painting to Chris Statlander and Deanna Perrazzo and Nyla Rose, some of these bigger people, they were very appreciative. They were very sweet about it. Um, could they have gone home and thrown it in the trash? Sure. but but yes. Pretty positive overall, but I do have some where it's like they look at it, you saw they looked at it, and they say nothing, and it's like, oh,
I
did I offend them? Did I, you know?
I feel that, especially as trying to be a content creator. I've noticed things a lot more being on the other side of it, try to be a creator of something. I'll post something and it'll get no likes. And it's like, okay, that I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm okay with it, but I keep trying. I'll I'll
Yeah.
support other people. They don't support me back, and that's fine. But if we all supported each other, we could all grow to the same goal.
Well, yeah, and I think, that's why I am so supportive of these wrestlers, especially these indie wrestlers, because I know what it's like to be an indie, because I'm an indie author, you know? And
You
I
get it.
know, like, when you're creating or you're doing your craft or you're doing something that's important to you or you're passionate about, if anybody knows everybody has to start somewhere, it's me. So even some of these wrestlers with like lower follower count or maybe not as popular. Like, I want to be there. I want to be liking their stuff. I want to be lifting them up. It really all creators, you know, just because I know how hard it is to start off and try to build yourself up and build credibility and get people to notice you and take you seriously and stuff.
Something I've been an advocate for: support is free.
Yeah, for sure.
Support is free. If I see something, especially with somebody that I know, that they're talking about something or they're promoting something, I'm going to do what I can, like, comment, because we live in a world where,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, for sure.
if I could sit there and like something for somebody that's going to help somebody else like it and see it, hey, I did my part.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I'm all about supporting people in their craft and their art or their whatever,
So,
you know. And
no, go ahead.
well, the other thing I was going to say is like you're also going to suck at whatever you do at first, and you get better over time with like practice and stuff like that. So, like, I've written books that like totally suck, and I've had artwork that just looks terrible. But I just kept practicing, kept doing it, and like the encouragement helps. So, even if somebody is small or like it's not the best quality or the best whatever, it's important to keep encouraging them
Yes.
because you get better with practice. You get better the more you do it.
Yeah. It's always encouraging to see somebody liking something that you're doing, because it gives you the drive. Like, all right, there's it's not 1,000 people, it's not 1,000,000 people, but it's somebody that's watching, that's liking this, that, and I could. It makes me want to continue. I've been doing this wrestling podcasting not very long. I'm not expecting a big following, and there's sometimes I have videos that'll get 3 views, and then I have another video that might get 50 views. It's
Yeah.
it's the consistency, and I respect that. Things that you've gone through, that you continue to persevere and push forward to do something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned something earlier about taking pictures of the wrestlers for them to digital pictures. Is that something that, how do I want to phrase this? Why do you feel that you want to help the indie wrestlers as much as you do?
Well, I think it's kind of like what I said about being an indie myself. I have done the whole indie book thing, author thing, self-publishing thing, and you're the marketer. You're the you're the person pushing yourself. Um, and also like I love what they do. I love going to their shows and I love seeing them working on their craft and doing something that's really effing hard to do. I mean, becoming a pro wrestler, that's a grind that I really respect and not something I could ever do, but just what they're putting their body through for our entertainment. I definitely want to lift these women up and to encourage them, like, keep pushing, keep pursuing that dream, keep being you, because what you're doing is really amazing. Whether people understand it or not, and whether people see it or not, I see you, you know? And so I love, in my free time, this is what I want to do. I want to write, I want to paint, and I want to promote my beautiful wrestlers. A lot of it has to do with the fact that I have chronic fatigue and they have lots of energy, and I'm kind of living vicariously through them. Like, keep having your energy, keep doing what you're doing. I love seeing them travel across the country and do all these different matches, and I love watching them improve over time and getting those new moves and getting quicker in the ring and flipping off the ropes and just all the stuff they do. It's so amazing to me. And so Literally in my free time, I enjoy making fan edits for them. Oh, this was London Dior in her match, and look at her, she's so amazing. Or this is Alejandra, look at her, she's so amazing. I love painting them, just expressing them through art. That's exciting to me. And so, yeah, I want to do anything I can to promote them, to get them more followers, to get more eyes on them in that ring, because what they're doing, their craft is important. It's special, you know. Um, Me wanting to photograph them, that's, I want to have my own original images because I have to have photo references to paint them. I can't paint them out of my head. I wish I could. Um, and so that would not only give me original images that are my images, I think it would also help them because then they would have pictures that they could use for merch or on their social media or whatever. So it's just an idea out there. I really hope that some of them choose to work with me in the future. I hope so.
And I suggest I know a few indie wrestlers and referee, and they should definitely take you up on this offer because there's not a lot of there's not a lot of fans that are willing to do this stuff out of the goodness of their heart. A lot of them
Yeah,
is like, hey, pay me $200. You know, it's refreshing to see somebody that loves wrestling and that's willing to help the people trying to get to the next level.
yeah, I mean, for me, it's all like out of love of pro wrestling and my art. And I have a hard time just sitting and doing nothing, which with someone with chronic fatigue syndrome, you're really supposed to rest a lot and sit and do nothing. And that's hard for me. Um, I want to create things. I want to paint. I am someone who wants to be busy creating things. And so for me, this is fun. I would rather be sitting editing a video than watching TV. That's boring to me. Like, honestly, I'm just crazy like that.
So that you're productive.
I'm just crazy like that. This is what I want to do for fun. So for me, it would just be creating the images. I have all these ideas for photo shoots I want to do, so that I can paint them. I would give them all the digital photos and the finished art pieces. Um, and then from there, like if I guess if they wanted merch or whatever, we'd have to work something out. But it's really not about making money for me. It's just about elevating them and making my artwork. So I hope they take me up on it.
They should. They should, because I know if when I was wrestling, if I had somebody that was willing to help me and do stuff like that, I've been all over. I've been all fucking over it.
Well, I think I just need to be brave enough to ask. Um, I'm a little shy. I don't like to DM wrestlers unless they DM me first because I don't want to be one of those crazy fans, you
I
know?
do understand that. I do understand that. But I think if your intentions are genuine, it's different versus like sometimes you have some fans be like, "Oh my god, I love you. You're great. You're amazing. Go out with me. I'm gonna throw. and it starts to get like, okay, but you
Yeah,
you are a genuine person from the not many conversations, but the conversations that we have had. You love wrestling and you want to see the little people grow. And you're a new
I
wrestling
do.
fan, correct?
Yeah, fairly new. I've only been a wrestling fan for probably about 2 years, and then indie wrestling, um, March of this year. That was the first time I saw Alejandra up in the ring, and I went to a wrestling because I was in a meetup group of people who just like wanted to meet up and do stuff, and I was like, hey, let's go to an indie show. So we did, and there she was, and I was like, I gotta paint her, I gotta do fan edits. I got She just inspired me the moment I saw her. That's my indie girl. I gotta lift her up.
So, like as I said earlier, support is free.
Yeah,
So now, you being a new wrestling fan, and I know we've talked about that you watch AEW.
I do.
Did you watch the women's blood and guts match? And I would like your opinion on the first ever women's blood and guts match.
So I did watch it. I feel like there were some parts where I looked away and I missed what happened, but I did watch it. I was pretty nervous, to be honest with you, because as much as I love wrestling, I do worry about people getting injured and hurt. I don't want anybody to get severely injured. You know? That's just the mom in me. I can't help it.
Nothing wrong
Every
with
time
that.
I watch this, I'm like, please land right. Please don't hurt her. Please, you know? Um, so Sky Blue looked like Carrie. You know, she just went straight for it. And I thought, how can she even see out of her eyes? Like, how can she even continue with all this blood coming out? Do they monitor that? Are they like, okay, she's lost way too much blood. We got to take her out? Or like, but she just kept going, you know? So that was a little concerning. Um, I feel like Chris Stat and Mercedes Monet had this really awesome exchange where she like flipped her around and it looked really cool. And that was pretty mind blowing. Um, I feel like Harley Cameron's really up and coming with everything. I feel like she's on her way up in the roster. I don't know why. That's just a feeling I get. Um, I don't know. What did you think? I mean, it was pretty intense. They did a great job, but some of it was like, oh my God, like, please be careful.
So, most people that know me know I am not the biggest AEW watcher.
Okay.
There's a few events that I will watch, like Blood and Guts. I watched the women's one. I didn't watch the men's Blood and
Yeah, I
Guts.
didn't either. Yeah.
um, I'm not surprised by the winner. They with AEW, they let their women kind of dictate how things go. They're not a, they're definitely more physical, and I like that because in wrestling, it's not men shouldn't be the only ones that are able to have a bloody match.
True.
Women are capable of having that, and that's one thing I will give AEW their credit for. They're not afraid to let their women go out there, beat the hell out of each other, be safe, and have a good match.
Yeah.
What did you think of the ending of the match?
I don't know. I didn't like it, to be honest with you.
Why is that?
Um, I don't know, like Tony Storm's surrendering for Mina. I don't know. I just thought it would be better if there was like an actual submission or tap out rather than her just trying to rescue her friend. And then, I don't know. And then the heels one, I felt like it should have been the faces. I don't know.
Hey,
I didn't really necessarily, I don't, that, and that's just my opinion.
hey, look, as I've said before, we all have opinions, and this is why I want to do a podcast like this because I want to hear everybody's opinions on it, especially somebody that watches AEW more than I do. Like for me, my opinion on it, from a storyline wise, I get it. Like building up somebody, it protects everybody because nobody technically got pinned. So it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
everybody looks good. Tony Storm sacrificed the match for her friend, which I mean, if you look at it in the real world, most people would sacrifice themselves for a friend that's in a situation that she was in.
Right.
So I definitely do see your point. On there should have been a win. I definitely do see that point for sure.
I just think like when you want a big finisher, isn't that what matches like any kind of big match? We're talking like a main event or a big match, a big thing. You want a big finisher or something like that, not just like, oh, I surrender myself. I don't
No,
know.
you're right though. I I do have another question. This is not about the women's match, but why is it that you didn't watch the rest of the show?
I was tired.
Okay,
Um, yeah, I mean, I know I've talked about like having chronic fatigue and stuff like that. So with chronic fatigue, you kind of have to stay within a certain energy envelope, which means I have to balance out my resting with my activity.
understood.
At the end of the day, after I've worked all day, and then I've really been busy with my author stuff, trying to get my edits and my manuscripts done and everything. Like I'm literally sitting there doing it while I'm watching the match. So I think that's why I said I kind of looked away a couple of times. Um, I just get incredibly tired. My head starts hurting, and it's like I have to turn off the TV and go lay down
Okay,
a lot.
okay,
And sometimes I'm just not as interested in the men's matches as the women's matches. So sometimes when I watch, I'm like, okay, I'll watch the women's match, and then I'll turn it off. Um, which really, I wish I could watch Collision more often because I know in Collision they have more women's matches, and that's the show I need to watch. But a lot of times on Saturday nights, there are indie shows to go to or, you know, other stuff. So
hey, that's
it just depends.
I understand. I like to ask that because again, everybody has different reasons for not doing certain things. Like for me, my reasoning for now, I watched the Hangman and Will Hobbs match, which was fine. I didn't watch the main event because it was like I kind of knew where this was going. It's I kind of knew where it was going.
Yeah.
I wasn't that interested in it. I'm not the biggest fan of Moxley. It's not because he
Yeah.
left.
And he's kind of the big guy, you know.
Yeah,
So I really like Darby Allin though. Um, and I do kind of like the feud that they've had with each other. They did a segment where Darby Allin and Mox, there was like glass. They were talking between like a glass window, and it was really artistic. And you could see Darby Allin's reflection in the glass and like just the intensity of his eyes. And then, um, Moxley's thugs come up behind him and like beat him bloody. And, there's like blood coming down and you can see the reflection in the window. Their storyline is pretty intense. And Darby Allin takes a lot of bumps and crazy, but Mox will too. They both will take, spikes in the back and
brutal.
bloody battles. They have no problem doing that with each other.
Yeah, they're kind of almost like wrestling soulmates in a way.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. So yeah, I mean, I get you. Like Mox isn't necessarily my favorite either, but I do respect his willingness to take so much like extra stuff, like the tacks and the spikes and the blood and like, he's not afraid to do any of that stuff.
I definitely respect anybody that steps into the ring. And like for me, I try to support as much as I can, watch matches and talk about matches because they're human and they still need support just like anybody else.
Yeah,
What was the year is basically almost over because Christmas is like a month
yeah,
away, so it's like the year is
it's
pretty much.
coming.
What was your favorite match you saw this year?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Top three.
I'm like, oh, that's tough. Um, of course, I loved Alejandra Lyon versus Nikki Blackheart at Who Runs the World 2.
Okay.
Um, Nikki Blackheart is a really good wrestler. I had never heard of her before until she wrestled Lion, but I have to put Lion at the top.
Fair.
She's pretty amazing. Um, I think the match between Mercedes and Tony Storm at the All In event was pretty epic.
That
Um, that one was pretty good.
that one was good.
I'm trying to think of another one that I just loved,
I think it was
but it's
this
hard for me
year.
to think of a third one. I think those are my top two.
I think it was this year. I think it was when I think it was Tony Storm and Mariah May before she went to
Oh yeah, the Hollywood ending. That
yeah.
was a good one. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
definitely a good one.
She's doing really
That
well
was
over in NXT right now. And
yeah, I know.
honestly,
She's good.
I think you would like NXT.
Oh, I'm sure I would.
It's
I
it's
just
definitely it's definitely an indie vibe.
yeah.
It-
Aren't they only in Florida though? Like they don't ever come travel
They
around?
they do for like excuse me, they do for their big shows. But like if you're like looking for something like I know you're more into like the indie wrestling. Like if you're like into like indie wrestling, that's definitely a very indie vibe because it's not they don't go unless it's like a pay-per-view. They're not in like the big arenas. They're pretty much in like
Okay.
small venues, like an indie venue. And they definitely have more
Oh yeah,
women's
I
match.
love that.
They definitely have more women's matches on there than main roster does. And I
Yeah.
think you will enjoy NXT.
I'm sure I would. And if Britt Baker signed with them, I'd probably just hop over and start watching them instead. Or if Alejandra signed with them, I would hop over. Um, but I cannot watch wrestling every night of the week. I
Trust
know
me.
some people can, and I'm all for that, but I like have to just go, okay, I'm just gonna watch it Wednesday night and then go to the indie shows when I can, or I'm not so because if I watched all the promotions, I would be watching it every night of the week.
And
It would be like, okay, I gotta watch Raw on Monday, and then Tuesday we gotta watch, this promotion, and
there's not a absence of wrestling.
yeah,
There's
I mean, literally, you could watch it every night.
for
Um,
I only honestly I watch Raw. I watch NXT 90% of the time. I try to catch Evolve on Wednesday. That's basically indie Evolve, but I don't catch it as often as I like to. AEW, I don't really catch a lot of, and then there's SmackDown and pay-per-views, and that's Monday, Wednesday, just Monday, Tuesday, Friday already out the week. It's a lot of wrestling.
yeah, well, and the pay-per-views get expensive, so I usually don't buy
I don't
them.
blame you.
Um, but I am subscribed to Title Match Network, which is where I can watch the indies from TV. Like if I'm too tired to go or something, I can watch.
Okay.
And then I can also pull and do fan edits for some of my local girls. So that way they're still getting my support, even if I can't be there and film them in person. Of course, I love to be able to film them in real time and put it up on social media so they know, like, oh, Stella was here. She was watching me. She's got my back. But yeah, so I do get Title Match Network just so that I can watch some of my indie girls from home if I can't make it to their show for some reason. And then I watch AW Wednesdays. I watch Collision Saturday nights if I'm not don't have something else going on. But it seems like Saturday nights are a time to like do stuff,
It is.
you know?
Yeah, it is. I don't do anything anymore besides trying to
I
podcast and stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, I
Well, me either. I can't leave the house a lot with my fatigue. Um, it's I think that's the other thing people don't realize. If they see me at an indie event, it took a lot of like
right.
pregame. Yeah, it took a lot of prep work for me to get there or to be there. And if I stay the whole time, that's really a miracle because I usually have to leave early. Um, but it is what it is. I'm happy to use my energy on that.
And as a former indie person, I appreciate your your efforts and the little things that you try to do to make the experience better, not just for yourself, but for the wrestlers.
Yeah, I mean, I really want the wrestlers to know how much they mean to me because they're what's getting me through this like illness that I'm dealing with. Wrestling is what is getting me through it. It's their energy, it's their craft, it's their what they're doing. It's like I can kind of like live vicariously through them because I don't have the energy to jet set across the country and to travel and go to all these fabulous places and wrestle, and I can't do all those things, and I just love that they can, and I want them to know how special they are to me and how much they mean to me. And so I guess that's my way of expressing my gratitude in a way too, is like, y'all have been here for me, you're doing this great thing for me, so I just want to pay it back, you know.
And I've said it to you before. I respect that a lot. There's not a lot of people that are willing to do things like that, and I really think it's cool that you do the wrestling books, and I hope that is a monumental success. And I will definitely push forward for people to give your page a look, give you a shout out, and talk to you because you definitely are one of the good ones that actually care about wrestling, not just hey, I want to meet this person just to get an autograph and turn around and sell it online for a quick buck.
Oh no, I can never sell them. They're too special to me.
Right, and that's what I
Um,
was saying. Like I appreciate that as a person, just in general.
yeah, yeah, I love it. You know, I love every smile, every interaction, every time they put a heart on something on my page. Like that just warms my heart. It makes my heart so full. Um, but yeah, I love it. I love them. I hope they know I love them.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
So
And my wrestling romance, I'm very excited about it. And just so everybody knows, it is not BDSM. It is not kink. So it would actually appeal to a wider audience. Just so everybody knows that.
yeah, if you, as we get ready to wrap up, we want to go ahead and re-promote that book and anywhere they can find you. And if they're interested in your book, where can they be able to get your book?
Okay, so it's on Amazon. It's also on Kindle Unlimited. So it's exclusive to Amazon, basically. So Amazon. It's called Pinned by the Champ. So you could either just put in like Pinned by the Champ, Stella Shelton, and it should come right up. And then my TikTok is beautiful to you underscore, and then my Instagram. Well, I have an Instagram, beautiful to you underscore, which is my author Instagram, and then my wrestling fan art is at Stella's Wrestling.
All right. Well,
So
I want to thank you for your time. I know you are a busy author, excuse me, I get the words out today, and you are always trying to do something positive, and I greatly appreciate you for doing that and taking the time for joining us today.
yes, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Thank you, thank you. And if anybody else would like to be a guest, whether you're a fan, referee, wrestler, ring crew is very important. Please feel free to send me a message and we could set up a time because I would love to talk to you and hear your experiences. Is there anything else you would like to say?
No, just thank you so much for having me and letting me promote my books and my art. And I had fun as always. It was a
Thank
pleasure.
you. Thank you. And, if you want to be back on again, I'd love to have you back on again and talk women's wrestling because women's wrestling is on the rise.
It
And
is.
we need to strap in or strap on or whatever you want to call it
Yes,
because
absolutely.
it is here to stay.
Yes.
As always, thank you to Stella Shelton for joining. Everybody stay safe, stay blessed, and have a great wrestling week.